fear appears subtly, announcing its presence in moments of doubt. It is presented as a sign that warns of the unknown and the uncertain. However, their existence is fleeting, like shadows that disappear at dawn. Faith invites us to see beyond fear, revealing an inner light. Every heartbeat that recognizes fear brings with it an opportunity. The understanding that fear is temporary strengthens hope and courage. Thus, fear goes from being an obstacle to an invitation to overcome. In the face of concern, courage manifests itself in small gestures of faith. Each step, however hesitant, is an act of resistance against anxiety. The light of trust shines when we decide to face challenges with love. The mind calms as it recognizes that fear has no staying power. The heart is strengthened by transforming hesitation into reasoned action. The practice of meditating on the divine word renews the spirit daily. In this way, courage illuminates the paths that fear tries to obscure. Forgiveness emerges like a balm that dissolves the marks of fear. Forgiving yourself and others opens space for inner healing. The act of releasing resentment reduces the emotional weight that fear imposes. By practicing forgiveness, the spirit becomes lighter and more receptive to light. This attitude allows the lessons of the past to become learning. Each gesture of compassion transforms anguish into a new perspective. Thus, forgiveness becomes a vital tool on the path of renewal. Spirit renewal occurs when we allow faith to rewrite our thoughts. In every challenge, we find an opportunity to grow and transform. Divine love is intertwined with obedience, forming a solid foundation. The mind is freed by replacing anxiety with calm confidence. The interior is revitalized with the constant practice of reflecting on the truth. This internal transformation gives new meaning to each experience. In this way, renewal becomes the engine that drives freedom. The path to overcoming fear reveals that nothing is insurmountable. Obedience to divine truth guides the steps toward true freedom. Every challenge faced becomes a valuable lesson in self-knowledge. The balance between courage, forgiveness, and renewal builds an unbreakable foundation. The light that emanates from faith dispels the shadows, reaffirming divine protection. Fear loses its power and becomes just a detail in the trajectory. This understanding strengthens the spirit and inspires a life full of love and trust. Walking in the light means choosing the truth that dispels the shadows of discouragement. Each step towards clarity strengthens our faith and illuminates the path. The darkness, although present, becomes just a contrast that highlights our inner strength. By embracing transparency, we transform doubts into firm convictions. Divine light reveals the corners of the soul, bringing renewal and hope. The heart is filled with courage when it understands that the truth is a constant beacon. Thus, the journey through light drives us to overcome any shadow. Living in the light is an invitation to overcome obstacles with determination. Every gesture of love and compassion drives away the darkness that threatens our peace. Faith manifests itself as a shield that protects the soul against anxiety. Obedience to sacred teachings guides our steps toward clarity. The inner light is reflected in attitudes that inspire transformation. Each challenge overcome illuminates the path, dispelling doubts. In this way, the journey becomes a constant celebration of life and hope. The transparency of our feelings reveals the beauty of an enlightened life. By abandoning the veils of darkness, love becomes our greatest ally. Every decision made based on truth strengthens trust in the divine. The mind clears by recognizing that shadows cannot obscure the light. The daily practice of seeking the truth generates energy capable of overcoming fear. Every act of bravery contributes to the strengthening of a serene soul. Thus, the light within us drives us to overcome the darkness. Walking in the light teaches us that true strength lies in sincerity. By facing challenges with an open heart, darkness naturally dissipates. Obedience to the divine word transforms all difficulties into learning. Forgiveness and humility come together to create an environment of peace and renewal. Each step taken with confidence makes the darkness just a passing scene. Clarity of thoughts translates into actions that exalt the truth. In this way, overcoming darkness becomes a reflection of our inner evolution. Every moment spent in the light reaffirms that darkness has no power over the spirit. Faith illuminates every corner of existence, dispelling fears and uncertainties. Trust in the divine transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. Love, exercised authentically, is the tool that builds bridges over shadows. Every gesture of obedience and courage reflects the beauty of a full life. The journey toward the light reveals that true victory lies in constant renewal. This understanding inspires us to continue with the certainty that the light always prevails. Loving your enemies is turning pain into an opportunity for growth. This practice requires courage to forgive and open your heart without reservation. Unconditional love breaks down the barriers of resentment and pride. Each gesture of compassion transforms conflict into an opportunity for renewal. Faith manifests itself in the face of the adversary as a reflection of one's own humanity. By offering forgiveness, we lift the weight of old emotional wounds. Thus, love becomes the tool that frees the spirit and heals relationships. Responding to evil with love reveals surprising inner strength. Every act of kindness breaks down the walls that separate hearts. Forgiveness is established as the key to true reconciliation. Compassion transforms the enemy into a teacher of life lessons. This approach inspires the constant practice of love and empathy. By abandoning the cycle of hate, the soul finds peace and freedom. In this way, love emerges as the most powerful path to transformation. The practice of loving your enemies requires humility and self-knowledge. Every act of kindness reveals the depth of divine love present within us. By letting go of judgment, we welcome others with understanding. Empathy grows when we see the shared humanity in each being. Forgiveness becomes a balm that soothes the wounds of the past. The courage to forgive is a reflection of the faith that sustains us. Thus, the enemy becomes a living lesson in love and redemption. The power of loving your enemies is an invitation to break destructive patterns. Every action guided by love reinforces the possibility of a new beginning. Faith drives us to act with compassion even in the face of adverse attitudes. The heart is strengthened when you choose to see beyond the mistakes of others. The constant practice of forgiveness illuminates the paths towards reconciliation. Every gesture of love builds bridges over the barriers of conflict. In this way, adversity becomes an opportunity for profound transformation. Loving your enemies reveals the essence of true inner freedom. Each step taken towards forgiveness dissolves the remains of bitterness. The light of compassion reflects the beauty of a life full of hope. The challenge of forgiveness strengthens faith and broadens the understanding of love. The practice of unconditional love creates an environment conducive to reconciliation. Every act of kindness reflects the truth that peace overcomes conflict. This posture transforms challenges into lessons of growth and unity. The uncertainty of the world is revealed in each new challenge that is presented to us. Anxiety appears when we try to control the uncontrollable. Faith teaches us to trust that there is a divine plan behind every circumstance. The mind calms down by accepting that not everything is under our control. Every moment becomes an opportunity to practice surrender and trust. Inner peace is strengthened when we open ourselves to divine providence. In this way, anxiety becomes an invitation to spiritual renewal. In the midst of unpredictability, faith serves as an anchor that stabilizes the heart. Each act of obedience to sacred teachings connects us with a greater force. Trust in God makes uncertain days lighter and full of hope. The practice of forgiveness frees the mind from the chains of fear and resentment. Humility teaches us to accept that life has its own rhythm and purpose. Daily renewal of the mind allows anxiety to gradually dissipate. Thus, living without anxiety becomes a journey of surrender and serenity. Every dawn brings with it the opportunity to start over with renewed faith. The divine light illuminates the corners where doubt tries to settle. Love and compassion are instruments that alleviate the uncertainties along the way. The constant practice of meditation and prayer strengthens the spirit. Trust manifests itself when we understand that the future is in the hands of the Creator. Each breath becomes an act of surrender and acceptance. In this way, anxiety loses weight and gives way to inner peace. An uncertain life invites us to abandon the need to control every detail. Faith rescues hope and teaches us to live the present with intensity. Every challenge faced with love becomes a step toward freedom. Obedience to the divine word reveals safe paths even in turbulent times. Practicing forgiveness and gratitude helps us cultivate a calm mind. Every small gesture of trust brings us closer to the calm that transcends chaos. Thus, uncertainty becomes an opportunity for growth and faith. Emotional balance is based on the ability to let go of the reins of control. Humility teaches us that recognizing our limitations is the first step toward peace. Surrendering to divine will make difficult moments more bearable and full of meaning. Every day is a lesson of faith that transforms anxiety into learning. The light of divine love guides us, illuminating even the darkest paths. The practice of prayer and meditation strengthens the spirit and calms the mind. In this way, living without anxiety is revealed as an art of trusting and loving unconditionally. Obedience to divine teachings becomes a shield that protects from the dangers of the world. Each decision guided by faith reinforces protection against the traps of evil. The constant practice of obedience strengthens the spirit and brings clarity to the mind. Unwavering faith acts as a beacon that illuminates the path to safety. Every act of spiritual discipline builds a barrier against negative influences. Trust in God transforms tempting shortcuts into safe paths. Thus, obedience is revealed as the basis of a protected and full life. To follow divine precepts is to embrace an existence full of peace and security. Obedience frees the soul from the uncertainties and dangers of the unknown. Each gesture of faith reaffirms our commitment to the truth that guides our steps. Divine love manifests itself in attitudes that prioritize the greater good. The practice of forgiveness and humility reinforces this protective barrier. Every conscious decision reflects the search for a life in tune with the divine. In this way, spiritual protection becomes a certainty in the midst of chaos. By choosing obedience, we open the doors to liberating wisdom. Each act of following sacred teachings dispels the darkness of doubt. Faith manifested in daily practice builds a shield against evil. Obedience transforms vulnerability into strength and determination. Every decision, guided by divine light, drives away negative influences. Commitment to truth makes the spirit unbreakable and resilient. Thus, divine protection is consolidated in every gesture of faith and obedience. Living according to divine precepts is a choice that radiates security and peace. Obedience to sacred values teaches that shortcuts can hide dangers. Every step taken in faith reaffirms the protection that truth offers. Love and trust in God transform challenges into opportunities for growth. Every conscious choice strengthens the wall that defends against evil. The constant practice of sacred teachings shapes a resilient character. In this way, obedience becomes a powerful shield against adversity. Divine protection is revealed when we choose to live with integrity and faith. Every act of obedience is a demonstration of trust in divine provision. The path of truth illuminates the mind and protects the heart from dangers. The practice of following sacred teachings shapes a secure existence. Every decision based on faith strengthens the barrier against bad influences. Obedience becomes the key that opens the doors to a life without fear. Thus, living according to divine will is the certainty of a protection that transcends all evil. Peace that transcends understanding arises when the spirit connects with the divine. Every moment of inner silence leaves room for deep calm. Faith manifests itself in the serenity that embraces the soul even in the midst of storms. Love and trust in God make peace a safe and constant refuge. Every breath is a reminder that true calm comes from within. The practice of meditation and prayer strengthens this unbreakable peace. Thus, inner serenity transforms adversity into learning. Living this peace is allowing the mind to free itself from the noise of the world. Peace of mind arises when we let go of the desire for immediate answers. Each act of faith and forgiveness creates an environment conducive to inner harmony. Obedience to divine teachings nourishes the feeling of lasting peace. Each gesture of love and compassion reinforces the calm that surpasses all explanation. Inner peace is reflected in serene attitudes that inspire those around us. In this way, understanding expands, revealing a peace that goes beyond words. Serenity is strengthened when we face life with full confidence. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen inner calm. Faith illuminates the paths, dispelling doubts and providing clarity. The practice of forgiveness softens hearts, making room for peace. Each experience lived contributes to the construction of a serene interior. Humility teaches us that true peace is the fruit of surrender to the divine. Therefore, peace that surpasses understanding is the basis of transformation. The search for inner peace transforms days into moments of deep reflection. Each moment of meditation renews energy and calms restless thoughts. The presence of God becomes the pillar that supports this serenity. Each prayer is a dialogue that strengthens conviction and calms the spirit. The daily practice of gratitude expands the perception of this inexplicable peace. Each gesture of love and forgiveness sows tranquility in every corner of the soul. In this way, Inner peace is revealed as a gift that transcends human understanding. Every day lived in peace is an achievement that renews hope. Trust in the divine transforms moments of anguish into complete serenity. Each action of faith reaffirms the certainty that peace is beyond circumstances. Obedience to sacred values forms a calm and resilient spirit. Each conscious breath celebrates the stillness that resides in the heart. The peace that surpasses all understanding illuminates the paths with a soft light. Thus, living in peace becomes the basis of an existence full of harmony and love. Forgiving is opening the doors to a freedom that renews the soul. Each act of forgiveness dissolves the weight that resentment imposes. The practice of forgiveness transforms pain into lessons of self-knowledge. Faith is strengthened by recognizing that releasing sorrow is a gesture of self-love. Each word of forgiveness builds a bridge to inner serenity. Trust in God is manifested when we leave the past behind. Thus, forgiveness is revealed as the master key to spiritual freedom. Forgiveness requires courage to face the wounds that life has left. Each gesture of compassion reduces the bitterness that imprisons the heart. Humility allows us to recognize that we all make mistakes and deserve a new opportunity. Each action of forgiving is a step towards the renewal of the spirit. Divine light is reflected in the ability to transform pain into wisdom. Each attitude of reconciliation strengthens the conviction that love conquers hate. In this way, forgiveness becomes the foundation of a life of peace and hope. Every moment spent in forgiveness is an opportunity to free yourself. The constant practice of forgiving eliminates the barriers that separate hearts. Each word of forgiveness resonates in the soul, opening space for renewal. Faith is consolidated when we understand that forgiving is an act of liberation. Each gesture of reconciliation brings out the essence of compassion. Humility is revealed when we recognize the transformative power of forgiveness. Thus, inner freedom arises from the ability to forgive. The secret of inner freedom lies in the ability to leave sorrows behind. Each act of forgiveness transforms the internal environment into a space of peace. The mind is freed by replacing resentment with feelings of love and gratitude. Every experience lived becomes a learning experience when forgiveness prevails. The practice of forgiveness harmonizes emotions and strengthens hope. Each conscious act of forgiving builds a new perspective on life. In this way, forgiveness becomes the engine that drives the renewal of the soul. The path to inner freedom is strengthened with each act of forgiveness. Each word of reconciliation turns on the light that dispels the darkness of resentment. The practice of forgiveness forms a resilient spirit capable of transforming. Each gesture of love, by forgiving, expands the capacity to live in peace. Faith is reaffirmed in the certainty that forgiveness liberates and transforms lives. Every moment of forgiveness is a step towards a full and serene existence. Thus, the secret of forgiveness is revealed as the path to unbreakable inner freedom. True greatness is revealed when we give up pride and value simplicity. Humility allows us to recognize our limitations with sincerity and courage. Every modest act, full of love, builds genuine character. Dependence on God becomes a foundation that strengthens the soul. Each step taken with humility reveals the transformative power of surrender. The heart is enriched when it learns to value others above itself. Thus, humility emerges as the hidden force that illuminates the path of life. Living with humility is making room for the wisdom that arises from introspection. Each lived experience teaches us to recognize the value of simplicity. Faith manifests itself when we admit that we need help to grow. Each gesture of humility reflects an attitude of openness and learning. The spirit is renewed by abandoning vanity and embracing the inner truth. Any recognition of weakness becomes an invitation to improvement. In this way, humility becomes the key to a life full of love and understanding. The practice of humility connects us with the essence of the divine and of others. Each sincere word reinforces the importance of listening and learning. The mind frees itself by letting the ego dominate and allows for genuine exchange. Each modest attitude reinforces the truth that true strength lies in unity. Love blossoms when we let go of pride and open ourselves to forgiveness. Each encounter becomes a lesson in empathy and mutual respect. Thus, humility is revealed as the pillar that sustains true and enriching relationships. Every challenge faced with humility is an opportunity to grow and learn. Humility teaches us that admitting mistakes is the first step toward transformation. Every failure becomes a step towards wisdom and self-knowledge. Faith is strengthened when we accept that we are learners on the path of life. Each lesson received with gratitude illuminates the path of personal evolution. The spirit is elevated by recognizing that true greatness is in dedication. In this way, humility becomes the instrument that drives us towards renewal. Every moment lived with humility enriches the soul and strengthens the heart. The daily practice of recognizing our limitations reveals our true strength. Every modest attitude leaves room for a sincere dependence on God. Love intensifies when we let go of pride and welcome others. Every step taken with humility reflects the beauty of a free and conscious spirit. Inner transformation occurs when vanity gives way to gratitude. This posture reveals the hidden power of humility, which leads us to a full and enlightened life. True faith is like a seed that, planted with love, blooms and strengthens the spirit. Each sincere belief illuminates the path, transforming obstacles into opportunities. Unwavering trust in God makes it possible to overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. Each act of faith resonates like an echo that moves mountains and rebuilds destinies. The simplicity of faith allows us to see beyond the visible and believe in the invisible. Every decision made based on divine trust expands the horizons of hope. Thus, faith becomes the engine that drives the transformation of life. To live with faith is to embrace the certainty that no obstacle is too great to overcome. Each step, guided by trust in God, turns doubts into firm convictions. Faith is manifested in every gesture of courage that faces the unknown with hope. Each challenge overcome reaffirms the belief that the divine works miracles. The simplicity of faith transforms adversity into a ladder to growth. Every silent victory is a testament to the transformative power of genuine belief. In this way, faith rises, moving mountains and opening new paths of light. The essence of faith lies in the ability to believe without seeing and to dream without limits. Every moment of trust strengthens the soul and invigorates the heart in the midst of the storm. Faith reveals that the greatest challenges can be overcome with determination and love. Each obstacle overcome becomes a step towards a new achievement. The simplicity of believing creates a deep bond with the divine and the extraordinary. Every breath of hope renews the certainty that the impossible becomes possible. Thus, The faith that moves mountains becomes the pillar that supports a life of achievement. Every day lived with faith is an invitation to transcend the limitations of the physical world. Trust in a higher power illuminates the corners where doubt hides. Every challenge bravely faced reveals the greatness of unwavering faith. The light that emanates from sincere belief dissipates the shadows of fear and insecurity. Each decision made with love and conviction transforms barriers into bridges of hope. The simplicity of faith creates an environment where miracles become part of the routine. In this way, faith manifests itself as an engine capable of moving mountains and inspiring generations. Faith that moves mountains is a testament to the human ability to transcend limits. Each act of belief strengthens the spirit and propels the soul toward victory. Trust in the divine transforms challenges into enriching and memorable experiences. Each moment of dedication to faith expands the perception of what is truly possible. The simplicity of believing renews hope, creating a path full of light. Each victory achieved is proof that, with faith, even the mountains surrender. Thus, faith becomes the flame that illuminates the path, moving mountains and opening new horizons. Trusting in God is an act of surrender that transforms the burden into lightness. Every challenge becomes smaller when we recognize divine sovereignty. By letting go of control, the mind is freed to appreciate the beauty of life. Faith reveals to us that, even in the midst of chaos, there is a greater plan at work. Every problem dissolves before trust in a supreme power. Serenity arises when we accept that the divine is in charge. Thus, obstacles become lessons of growth and hope. Trust in God drives our existence to live without the weight of anxiety. Each moment of surrender strengthens the spirit and illuminates the path of our days. By allowing the divine to resolve, we open space for deep inner renewal. Faith becomes the anchor that supports our steps even during storms. Every worry becomes an opportunity to practice conscious surrender. Hope is reborn when we realize that we are not alone on this journey. In this way, trusting in God transforms challenges into paths of faith. To hand over problems to the divine is to recognize that there is a right time for each solution. Every difficulty is softened by the certainty that God's plan is perfect. By fully trusting, we allow peace to guide our choices and actions. Faith teaches that control is an illusion that crumbles in the face of supreme love. Every step taken with confidence becomes an act of unwavering courage. Divine certainty makes the path safer and more meaningful. Thus, problems are resolved with the grace that surpasses all understanding. Trusting in God is learning to live with an eye toward constant hope. Each challenge faced with faith reaffirms that the solution is beyond the visible. The mind calms as it recognizes that divine wisdom overcomes any obstacle. Every decision is guided by a love that knows no limits or barriers. By letting go of the reins, we allow the divine to direct the course of existence. Inner peace is strengthened with the continuous practice of genuine trust. In this way, problems become steps towards spiritual growth. Surrendering to the divine reveals that human control is temporary and fleeting. Every act of faith is an investment in a future full of real possibilities. By trusting, the mind is freed and the heart is filled with infinite gratitude. The certainty that God is in control softens even the most intense storms. Each difficulty becomes an invitation to deepen our trust in providence. The journey becomes lighter when problems are resolved naturally. Thus, To live trusting in God is to embrace a full existence guided by love and peace. Renewing the mind is a continuous process of aligning with divine truth. Each reworked thought reflects the desire to overcome limitations and find clarity. Faith prompts us to transform anxiety into learning opportunities. Every day is a new opportunity to replace old patterns with new perspectives. The practice of meditation and prayer lights the flame of inner renewal. Each conscious reflection paves the way to a fuller and more enlightened life. Thus, the renewed mind becomes the basis of an existence full of hope. To live with a renewed mind is to embrace the transformation that comes from self-knowledge. Each challenge overcome reinforces the conviction that we can rewrite our history. Faith illuminates the corners where old thoughts insist on remaining. Each conscious decision frees the spirit and expands the vision of a better future. The daily practice of reflecting on God's Word inspires profound changes. Each new knowledge strengthens the certainty that transformation is possible. In this way, mental renewal becomes a pillar of freedom and self-confidence. Transformative thoughts begin with the courage to question what limits us. Each act of introspection reveals the essence of a life based on truth. The mind expands when we allow the divine to guide our reflections. Each experience lived becomes a lesson that drives personal evolution. Faith rewrites the internal narrative, replacing doubts with firm convictions. Each new thought aligned with the truth generates a positive impact on life. Thus, living with a renewed mind is cultivating the wisdom that transforms the being. Each moment of silence and introspection renews the energy that lives within us. The practice of gratitude broadens perception and dissolves the shadows of the past. Every lofty thought resonates with the light of hope and forgiveness. The mind, when renewed, finds the ability to transform the impossible. Each reflection becomes a seed that blooms into actions of love and courage. Faith teaches us that constant renewal is the key to a full life. In this way, mental transformation is reflected in attitudes that build the future. Living with a renewed mind means making reflection a transformative habit. Each conscious choice reveals the strength of a constantly evolving spirit. Divine wisdom guides thoughts and builds resilient character. Each new day is an invitation to rewrite the internal narrative with faith. The practice of obedience and forgiveness strengthens the renewal of feelings. Each knowledge acquired fuels hope and the desire to live intensely. Thus, the renewed mind becomes the basis of a journey of love, peace, and fulfillment. Throughout this itinerary, we explore transformative principles that inspire us to live with faith, love, forgiveness, and humility. Each segment revealed a path to overcome fears, embrace the light, and transform challenges into opportunities for growth and renewal. This journey shows that by aligning our thoughts with divine truth, we gain an inner freedom that strengthens us to face any adversity. The constant practice of faith and obedience not only protects us, but also illuminates our paths, allowing each step to be an act of hope and transformation. If you felt inspired and want to go even deeper on this path of faith and self-knowledge, subscribe to the channel. By subscribing, you join a community that seeks, with each new content, to transform lives and spread the message of divine protection and unconditional love. Click the subscribe button and activate notifications so you don't miss any news that can illuminate your path and strengthen your spirit. May this message resonate in your heart, leading you to a life full of peace, love, and achievement. Thank you for being part of this journey, and see you in the next content.